Tonight, Ivan Cleary quits the Panthers. Why the four-time premiership winner has called time on his coaching career, leaving the Penrith community in shock. The Treasurer's big sell on a budget of broken promises, how the government is banking on the growing power of younger voters. What the budget changes will do to the price of homes in Sydney and why renters are set for more pain. A paramedic on scene during the tasering of Claire Nowlan describes her shock and disbelief as the inquest into the death of the 95-year-old gets underway. And get tested, the new warning from New South Wales Health to thousands of patients of a dentist who worked in Strathfield.
This is 10 News Sydney with Sandra Sully.
Good evening. Ivan Cleary has dropped a bombshell on the world of rugby league, announcing he will be quitting as Panthers coach at the end of next season. The club paying tribute to the four-time premiership winner, who will leave a bigger mark on the Penrith community than what has been achieved on the field.
Ivan Cleary's reign over the Panthers dynasty set to come to a close.
It's a decision that obviously haven't taken lightly.
A call 2 years in the making amidst discussions of extensions.
I've been a player and a coach for 35 years. It's more like a lifestyle than a job, so I'm definitely looking to branch out.
He played 186 games on the field before transitioning to coaching in 2006. First at the Warriors before a stint at the Panthers, 2 seasons at the West Tigers, then a return to the foot of the Blue Mountains, where he'd lead the club to 4 consecutive premierships.
I still feel driven for achievement now, so it's not really that. It might be easier though, to be honest. If I hadn't had that sort of success, and it might have been different.
With the support of his family, no one took it better than son Nathan.
Yeah, he's known for a while. My wife's just regularly checked in, making sure, are you sure, kind of thing.
The 2-time Dally M coach will move into an advisory role at the Panthers, adamant he would never coach at a rival NRL club. He'll hand the reins to assistant coach Peter Wallace.
I've still got 18 months with him to prepare for that role, so in terms of a transition, I don't think there would be a better club to do it at and a better coach to do it under.
Cleary's impact on Penrith felt further afield than just on the pitch.
I don't believe that we yet fully understand what Ivan has brought to this club and to this community.
I mean, look how many Penrith Panthers fans there are now. There's 10 times more than what there was before.
To turn him around the way he has, yeah, it's going to be a big loss, and that's sad. That's sad.
This is not a time for thank yous or reflections. I still have 18 months. I honestly woke up this morning thinking about the Dragons and how we're going to, try and beat them this week.
Brooke East, 10 News.
Our rugby league reporter Trent Simpson is in Brisbane tonight ahead of the Magic Round. Trent, is this the beginning of the end, I guess, for the Panthers dynasty?
Well, that's the major worry, isn't it, Sandra, for Panthers fans in particular. And I must say, the news is a massive shock here in Brisbane ahead of Magic Round. I spoke to a few Rabbitohs players at the airport today, and they just cannot believe what has happened in Penrith. Now, I suppose the club will start scrambling to lock in several stars with fears, the likes of Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, Brian To'o, Liam Martin, just to name a few, could follow Ivan out the door in 18 months' time. Now, the CEO, Matt Cameron, said today he has crunched the numbers in Penrith and says that those players in particular are still contracted for 507 days. That means there's a deadline on it, doesn't it? So the clock is ticking to at least try and lock down some of that star talent to ensure that when Peter Wallace does take the reins in 2028, he's not a rookie coach forced to rebuild the club.
No doubt work is well underway. All right, in Brisbane tonight, Trent Simpson. Enjoy the Magic Round. We'll catch up tomorrow. The Prime Minister and the Federal Treasurer have spent the day trying to sell the public on those controversial tax changes that have pitted investors against aspiring homeowners. Reforms to negative gearing and capital gains tax breaking a major election promise by the government. The Coalition has already vowed to roll them back if elected.
What are these guys doing?
They're trying to sell a federal budget
and justify a broken promise.
For too long, too many Australians, and particularly younger Australians, have been locked out of the housing market.
The Treasurer claims by making the tax system less generous to investors, property prices will slow by 2%, helping 75,000 first home buyers over a decade.
It's an assault on the Australian dream. It's built on a house of broken promises.
Negative gearing will be restricted to new builds from July next year, existing investors exempt. For capital gains, the 50% discount will be replaced by an indexation model with a minimum 30% tax rate. There's no impact to the family home.
This is really going to even the playing field for people who want to buy their own home, to live in it.
That's a disaster for hardworking Australians. It's an assault on aspiration, and we're going to fight it every day.
Aussies will pay one of the highest tax rates in the world on capital gains for all assets, including shares and crypto.
Ironically, make it harder for younger people to save for a housing deposit, certainly if they're investing through the share market.
After vowing not to touch the 1999 Howard Costello concessions.
Yes. How hard is it for the 50th time? I knew there'd be a bit of blowback on this. I understand that.
Bill Shorten did take it to an election and lost twice.
I think it should have happened in July of 2016. Anyway, it's happened now, so that's good. And I think it's taken courage.
I see this as nothing but communism taking over and redistributing wealth.
In the Treasurer's electorate today, voters feel they've been done dirty.
You can't believe a word they say.
He needs to put other people first.
The revenue raise will pay for a permanent $250 tax offset for 13 million workers, barely a coffee a week, and not for another 2 years.
But it's part of 5 different ways that we're cutting taxes, and it will give us the architecture to dial up that tax relief in the future.
The opposition's already vowed to repeal the changes if elected, setting up a major tax fight. No support guaranteed yet from the Greens, but ultimately it's hard to imagine them standing in the way.
If they had the courage to actually fix the housing crisis, they wouldn't have grandfathered in all of this unfairness.
We are changing the tax system to give young people a fair crack at their first home.
Chloe Bouris, 10 News.
Well, most of the nation's attention has been on those changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax. Last night's federal budget contained a raft of other measures that will impact our lives. Higher travel taxes, less red tape and a funding cut for a key veteran support group. We break down the finer details you may have missed.
As if an overseas holiday wasn't expensive enough, last night's federal budget won't help.
It's the highest departure tax in the world.
The passenger movement charge added to outbound ticket prices will go up by $10 a trip. Australia already has the world's most expensive passport.
It's an easy cash grab. The industry's been slugged again with an increase in tax on travellers.
Just one of many budget items buried in these pages. No sign of the $100 million needed to help Australian of the Year Dr Catherine Bennell-Pegg go to space, but the government's continuing to engage with the European Space Agency. Mission grounded for now.
We'd love it to be accelerated because we think it's an opportunity we could seize sooner rather than later.
The government did seize the opportunity to cut red tape for businesses worth about $10 billion, which should bring down prices at the checkout.
40% of the cost that you pay for food in the supermarket comes from red tape and supply chain inefficiencies.
Nuisance tariffs on imported goods like wine glasses, bitumen and margarine are on the chopping block. AUKUS has ballooned by more than $430 million over 4 years, and when it comes to the government's complex housing tax changes...
It's probably great news for accountants out there.
In fact, the ATO is getting nearly 1,500 more staff. The budget also includes a $10 billion fuel security package, including a government-owned fuel reserve, plus a significant winding back of generous EV tax discounts after the scheme blew out in cost. Invictus Australia, the veteran support group that evolved from Prince Harry's Invictus Games, has lost funding.
Really disappointing, particularly for the thousands of veterans and families that we support across the country.
Rough seas ahead as they prepare for the Birmingham Games next year. Hansel Dew, 10 News.
Our political reporter Chloe Bouris joins us live from Parliament House now. Chloe, can the government pull off this tough sell on a big broken promise?
Well, Sandra, it's way too early to tell if voters will be willing to forgive and forget, and it could be hard to quantify how many first home buyers it actually helps. So sentiment may depend on how the economy tracks. With inflation rising, more cost of living pain could anger voters. There's already a growing distrust in the major parties, and that makes it harder for Labor to make its case. But it does have a mandate. The opposition's been in disarray, and the next federal election is still 2 years away. And baby boomers will be outnumbered by millennials and Gen Zs at the ballot box.
All right, Chloe, thank you. And the Prime Minister will join 10 News Plus tonight at 6 o'clock. That's coming up right after the news. Well, the Premier says he will be seeking additional funding from the Commonwealth after New South Wales was delivered a pretty disappointing blow in the budget, set to receive the lowest per capita infrastructure spending amongst all the states. Our state political reporter Tallulah Thompson joins me now at the desk. Tallulah, first it was the GST carve-up, which didn't actually favour us. Now this.
Yes, Sandra, both sides of politics agree this is a raw deal. And the Treasurer, Daniel Mookhey, today adding that the federal government is treating New South Wales as a cash cow. Of the $13.5 billion state infrastructure pie, New South Wales is getting a 17.7% share. That's despite having 31% of the nation's population. Per capita, it works out to be the lowest dollar amount, just $344 per person. In Victoria, it's double that. Seeing that money, as well as GST windfalls, truck down the Hume Highway is frustrating, says the Treasurer, who was hoping for additional investment in big projects too, like the nearly $30 billion Metro West.
Now, we will seek to get an agreement with the federal government on specific infrastructure projects to right this wrong.
This is another example of the fact that Labor can't get a deal done.
The opposition leader pointed to the Great Western Highway as one project which should have received a federal cash injection but didn't. While the Commonwealth says it's standing ready for a request, the Minns government first needs to find a fix. It's whittled it down to 2 options, which will be assessed and developed over the next 4 weeks before a final decision is made and work can begin. Sandra?
All right, Tallulah, thank you. A paramedic who was there on the very day 95-year-old Claire Nowland was tasered by police says she thought it was excessive and not proportional to the magnitude of the incident. The coroner's court is examining how the 48-kilogram frail resident was seen as such a threat. It's also considering reforms to policies involving people with dementia.
Images of the great-grandmother pinned to their chests in the shape of a heart. Claire Nowland's family again faced the distressing details of the 95-year-old's death, this time hoping for change. The coronial process able to commence after former senior constable Christian White was convicted of manslaughter for tasering Mrs Nowland at Yallambee Lodge almost 3 years ago. Today, intensive care paramedic Anna Hoffner described her absolute shock and disbelief at the time. I didn't think the use of taser was proportional to the magnitude of the incident. I thought it was excessive. My strategy was just to try and diffuse the situation by being patient and gentle and trying to build a bit of a rapport with her. Senior Constable Jessica Pank said the knife was extremely sharp and she felt the risk was high. My thoughts were if we got too close, we could be stabbed. Every time I moved close, she would raise the knife towards me. But she said she was surprised by her colleagues' actions. The inquest will examine police use of tasers and policies and training for first responders to de-escalate situations involving people with dementia, a vulnerable and growing population. The court heard 1 in 4 people aged over 80 are living with dementia, a figure that will more than double in 20 years, putting increased demand on our aged care sectors and first responders.
The police themselves have been really forward in articulating why they don't necessarily think they are always the best people to first respond in some of those circumstances.
The inquest runs for 3 days. Sarah Naven, 10 News.
A controversial plan to build a Trump Tower on the Gold Coast has fallen flat. The Trump organisation announced it has pulled out of an agreement to build a 91-storey high-rise in Surfers Paradise, stating that the developer was unable to meet basic financial obligations. The Altus Property Group CEO responded online, calling the Trump Organisation brand toxic. Let's get to sport. It is the #1 story of the day. Tara Rushton, the shockwaves continuing at Penrith tonight.
They absolutely do. Bombshell news, Sandra, that the 2027 season will be Ivan Cleary's last. Assistant coach Peter Wallace will take the top job come 2028. So will Nathan Cleary follow his dad out the door? A hero from the last World Cup, Harry Souttar, is back in Socceroos camp, but will he win the fight to regain his spot? And is this bromance flourishing? Gout Noah Lyles training together in the US ahead of going head-to-head next month. More on that coming up ahead in sport.
Not a bad mentor.
Big day.
Indeed. All right, thanks, Tara. See you soon. Stay with us if you can. Still to come. What does the budget mean for house prices here in Sydney? We ask the experts. Thousands of patients of a Strathfield dentist urged to get urgent blood tests for HIV and hepatitis. And the shocking moment, motorists are almost hit by a landing plane.